Welcome back, anglers. I'm the SurvivalVis, and we return to Ultimate Fishing Simulator, where I may have figured out the one issue I was having with not getting any activity to our feeding rod, or our setup with this. It seems like tossing out the ground bait might be a very good step towards improving like all of the stuff happening for getting the channel catfish to strike. What I am going to do is increase our hook size to a size 4, just see if we can catch some larger fish, because this is some of our better like improved gear with what their durability is. So I'm going to toss that out, and we'll toss this out too, and see if anything does go for it. Now, I don't know if it would be better to have the line in the water first and then toss ground bait out, or toss the ground bait first, then toss this in. But we'll just spend... Oh, yeah, it says everything's proper for the area, so we should be okay. We'll wait, see how this goes, because I don't think there's any, like, lures that would really work for the channel catfish if we tried spinning, though we could still give it a shot. You know what, maybe I will do that. We'll set that up as it is. No, actually, I can't toss any ground bait out, so I don't know if it's that I've, like, used up all of the ground bait, or what's going on there. Okay, so that's the garlic there. Okay, so they are two different classifications entirely. Alright, well, let me get the spinning rod out and just see if there are any, like, lures or something that would work for the channel catfish. I really doubt it, because they are not a fish that I think would go for something like that in the water. Yeah, all the spinners, nothing seems to be, like, for them. And, no. The Duquino here actually says it could be useful for them. So you know what? Maybe we'll try with this too and see if we get anything striking it. I'm actually going to let this go all the way to the bottom, and then we'll try bringing it in. Just because if we are going to go for catfish, I would generally assume they would be a bottom feeder. Oh. And there's something on. You know, it has a good fight to it. This is actually one of the easiest to read tension meters I've had for, like, having a fish on. So let's see. Hopefully it's one of our larger ones, and I do have to remember I can't actually... I don't know why I get so locked up in, like, thinking I can't move around in some of the games. I'm not sure it's, like, Oh, there we go. New record for size, which is nice to see. Still doesn't sell for too much, but we'll still toss that out. I think I want to even try increasing the hook size even bigger. That's the biggest we can go for this with this starting hook. So I'll toss another piece of ground bait out there. Toss this out. Set that into the rod pod. See if anything will go for that. And then we'll try with this again. And just wait for it to slowly go down to the bottom. Oh. God, there's looks like some really big shapes in the depths to the back there. Like, I think that's another big channel catfish. We'll just keep seeing what we can do. No, I might have to go... Yeah, okay, so that's basically sunk to bottom. Oh, they're stop and go now. Nope. There's... Okay, well, one nice thing is we don't have to worry about the, snags. Oh, actually, are we gonna... Oh, I was gonna say, are we gonna get that catfish interested? Okay, so 4 stopping... Oh, well, it's a good thing nothing's hit this, because there's our other line. See, one thing I might have to try doing, too, is... waiting to see... how long the fish stay on, like, the the feeding rod. It's like, one thing's about RF4 is you could put down the rods at any time you wanted, so if you did have to, like, say you're trying to do spin casting with one rod, you could easily just set it down and switch over to your feeding rod if it did have the bells or something chiming for you. I don't know what the case is when it comes to this game, if the fish stay on for a fair while or not. Oh, it seems like this is a decent-sized one with the bigger hook size. See, that's taken a lot more time to reel in. It's not really, like, testing the tension of the line too badly. Yeah, ooh, careful. Again, want to watch how the tension goes. It's probably more accurate to be going off of the circle over the fish as it's being brought in than going off of the bottom rod, or the bottom bar there. That's it, come on in. Kind of surprised that for its sizing, we haven't been using the landing net. And that's actually 50 fish we've caught so far in the series. We just got an achievement for it. Well, that's a nice size to see. We'll sell you off for the funds. And we'll repeat what we had just done. So toss that out. Toss that out. Set you in there. And we'll try the spinning rod again. Because at least now I'm getting kind of an understanding towards how the stop and go method is working. Basically just have to wait for it till it says ground on the bottom right. And then I guess just do a little bit in. Let it sit and stop. A little bit in, sit and stop. And hook size doesn't match size of area. Consider using smaller hook. I think that's in relation to our feeding one. Actually, it could be in relationship to both of these. Okay, so there's ground. No, went too far. Okay, yeah, so that is one thing that I am missing from, kind of odd to say, but Call of the Wild the Angler did do pretty good, is at least like understanding how the retrieval techniques were working or affecting things. Yeah, because I don't know the timing period that... Okay, let me let it say it goes to ground. And then try bringing it in. Okay, it says ground there. Now, if I just leave it... Does it gain extra... No, it doesn't gain extra bars, so I don't know how to read that at the bottom right. I guess maybe the bars in the bottom right are like... Because you have the fluorescent green... And kind of more just like a regular green and then a yellow. I wonder if that's like to indicate how strong of a technique you're using. Let me try tossing one more ground bait out there. And just see. I know we increased the hook size to try to get better sized catfish. I just want to take another read of the help for that. Has 3 different levels indicated on the HUD, but doesn't really tell you what each means. Yeah, see, I gotta learn... It's the 3 other ones. It's the lift and drop, stop and go, and twitching I gotta improve at. We've at least stumbled onto the stop and go just by coincidence. But I don't know how to really work off the others. And what we'll do is we'll start saving up a lot of the funds from anything we can catch. And I might even try switch... See, what is this? This is still a size 4, so it should be alright for the area. Now, there are a lot of catfish around, like, even the surface area of the water, so I'm kind of tempted just to try reeling in and see if anything strikes it on its retrieval here. I really don't think it would, though. Or anything would. Yeah, there's still a little in and out I have to learn and tinker around with for try and get our setups quite right. I know we're in an area that doesn't have a lot of the other bass species, so I can understand why we're not really seeing anything from the spinning rod here. You know, let me even bring that right in. Okay, maybe we'll want to keep that as a size 4. Everything else should be okay for it. I still don't understand the 2 extra hook slots, unless maybe... Okay, this is all of the hooks we have on offer, but... maybe we'll try this one. The Kubo W15 does have 4, 2, 1 up like that. Yeah, we'll try this out and see. I don't have the option to use the ground bait right now, so it must be... The rod has to be in hand for you to have that option to be able to toss it out. So I guess... Hook size is proper, so that hopefully we'll see something on. Let me just use the vision and see. Is there anywhere... Now everything around here does basically look like catfish. There's nothing too close with any other types that would really come after anything I've got for, like... Oh, you know what? Actually, let me also try... We do have the float rod. It might be enough. Let me see if I can actually get... Alright, how... Right, there we go. Let's get a lot of depth to it. We'll try at 140 and see what happens. And truth be told, maybe I'll do this view, because it's the easiest one to work off instead of trying to watch the little float cam on the right or trying to zoom in on the float on the water. Truth be told, the little camera on the right would probably work much better if it was actually enlarged more. I wonder... They're all circling around that spot down there. I wonder if that's where one of the ground baits is. Although one of the advantages of using a float rod with the bottom, or with the feeding rod, I gotta stop calling it bottom, I'm just like, it's trained into me. With using the feeding rods, I can put this one onto the rod pod as well. Whereas the spinning rod, it wasn't giving me a prompt or the option to do so. At least I don't think it was. I might have to check that, actually. But yeah, they're all just spinning around that spot there. I wonder if that is where, like, the ground bait landed off, because now there's not, like, a frenzy around it as there was. Oh. There we go. Okay, finally something on the rod, or on the line. I wonder if the best technique might be match the ground bait with what's in the feeder, toss the ground bait out first, and then once the ground bait's been, like, finished off, they'll keep seeking more of that, and that would draw it to your bottom, or your feeding line. I don't know how careful. I don't know how accurate that is to, like, line of thinking or logic there. But it's just like theory crafting you come up with playing. Yeah, not too big. I'll sell you off. Yeah, no more bait and feeder. So what is this? That's the vanilla garlic, that's vanilla cinnamon. So equip that. Put that to there. And right, hook size, I did want to increase. Just because we had caught the one catfish out before. And let me try without the ground bait, just to see if anything different happens. Because yeah, there's no option to change your view to see, like, is this floating in the water? Is it sinking to the bottom? What's going on with it? I can at least take this one. And yeah, I think it's way too up in the, I don't want to call it the water table. But I think it's too far up in the water for any of the catfish that are swimming around down there to be interested in. So we will pull that in, and we're probably going to have to just focus on the, this feeding rod and see if we can get anything else on there. Okay, we have spent a bit of money picking up the baits for that, so my thinking is we still are on Powell Lake. What I'll probably do is next weekend we'll take the boat out and see about using some more bottom fishing rods and that, and how they fare for us. No, not feeding rods, but spinning rods, like trying some of the lures out. Maybe if we go more away from the docks, we can find some bigger fish, and we'll try some larger hook sizes to help too. But yeah, trying to get a read on this one, or on the feeding rod, does make me wonder what the fly fishing is going to be like. Is it going to be just a simplified version of, like, casting again? Because I have to imagine the flies won't really sink in the water. And I think they're so light they usually stay right on the water's surface. Now, they do have different types. Streamer, nymph, wet, dry. Hard to say, but at least there is the option we can try later down the line when we do save up enough funds to start building up our own little kit for it. For now, we'll just give this another minute or two. And yeah, at least, I mean, on one hand, it is nice there's all these catfish here. On the other, though, nothing's really coming for them. So, what if I try not as far out? Like, what about right there? It looks like maybe one was going after it. I think the biggest thing is, without being able to have, like, the camera view, I'm not entirely sure where our feeder is landing in relation to, like, all the fish we see down there. Because, yeah, I don't have the option to toss this out. We've got that on the line right now. And we'll just give it a little bit more time and hopefully we can get something on it. But yeah. Next map might be a really good one for feeding fishing, because from the fish roster was a lot of carp species, and they're one that this the feeder rod should be very good at getting hits with, or it'll be a lot more easy to get their interest with it. I also do want to... we'll leave the rod there for a moment, because I don't think too much will happen. We did unlock the skill to use boats for fishing, and it doesn't look like there's anything like you have to pay to be able to take one out on the water. So that's kind of nice to know that there won't be an added cost there. And again, going off of the map, if this is only like the little corner and we can actually go to all of this space out here, I admit I'd be a bit impressed with it. I didn't think the maps would be quite that big for what we had on offer, given how the first map was, where it's just like the little mountain lake. Oh. Okay, they're all clustered up there, which makes me think they are attracted to something. Oh, you know what? That's something I should have probably paid a little more attention to for the controls in the bottom left. There is actually reel in and reel out to, like, put more line out into, like, where you've tossed, or, like, your cast. So I'm wondering, maybe that's something I should have paid much more attention to. I mean, right now it says that yeah, it says it's on the ground right now, and it's not really got anything after it. I'll lift it up a little bit, because honestly, once the hunter vision does recharge and we take a look in the water again, it does seem like the catfish, yeah, they are focused on something. It's just that they don't seem to, like, actually be biting or taking it in. Yeah, they are definitely attracted to it in the water, because there they all are swarming around it. It's just for some reason, not one has actually taken hold of it. Or has, like, struck the line. No, there's no way to change the distance, so I don't know why they, like, weren't actually striking the bait. Because, I mean, there are other things like the semolina ball. Maybe it's because that's only a level 1, and this is level 3. Maybe the higher level bait you're using, the more potent it is for getting, like, action from what you're trying to catch. Yeah, we don't really have too much time, though, so I'm just going to take a quick step onto the boat, make sure there's no, like, hidden costs or anything for using it. And just see. Oh, boat. Start fishing, press R, return to marina, press B. And it does actually have, like, a little radar. We have a sonar system for finding fish on the map. Okay, the frame rate, I think... Actually, there is a little bit of a tank to the frame rate, but Yeah, you do have a good distance you can go out for and away from the pier, so you have a lot more area to fish on than I first thought. So that'll be really interesting for what could be another couple weekends on this map. And yeah, I don't have the rod pod that works on the boat, so I can't really use the bottom feeding one here. But at least it is handy to know that, like, this is an option for us. But we're going to end this episode here. As much as we didn't really make a lot progress-wise when it came to our funds, since we did drop down a fair bit, or our leveling, since we did only get up level 8, at least we've learned a few things, and next episode, when we head out on the boat and try to do more, spinning, I'm not sure the difference between, I guess casting just gives you a lot more distance for, like, casts out. When we get into that style of fishing again, I'm hoping we'll see a lot more action from, like, the bass species. I don't think I could try for the bluegill or the black crappie. I just feel like with them being smaller species in comparison, they might not be, like, as profitable. But it might not hurt just to go for anything and everything we can. We'll figure it out when the time comes. For now, thank you all very much for joining me on this episode of Ultimate Fishing Simulator. If you did enjoy the video, you should give a like. And if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, share them in the comments right down below. And until I see you in the next video or episode, survivors and anglers, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy angling.